Good morning. It is Five Things to Know. I'm T.A. Walker alongside Victoria Lewis. Good morning, Victoria.
Good morning.
Happy Friday to you. So make sure you guys say hi and where you're watching from. We want to make sure to give you guys shout outs wherever you are watching from because we're cool like that. Some cool Victoria sends out push alerts to, if you have the WPTV mobile app, to you every morning at 7 o'clock, 7:06, kind of floats in that little 7 o'clock range. And say what?
Nice and early in the morning.
Nice and early. Well, I like it because usually if I'm not here on a Friday, I'm in bed going like this and scrolling through and trying to figure out my life and what's going on in the world. But new this morning is the Dolphins draft pick, right?
Yep. Well, Dolphins actually had 2 draft picks yesterday in the first round. Number 6, they chose Jalen Waddle. He played for Alabama, so he'll have a nice little reunion there with Tua. And it definitely seems like they're building things around Tua. They wanted some big offensive players, and they're looking at that between now we have Waddle and Devontae Parker. You've got Will Fuller coming in from the Texans. It could be a really good year.
And who was the second pick? Do we know? I know nothing about football other than you get 4 chances to get 10 yards, and then it's the other team's turn. So
it's nice I get to feel like useful and the one with actual knowledge here. We also had Jalen Phillips. He's a defensive player that comes in actually from Miami, so he doesn't have too far to travel. It's been a bit like a first-round player in Miami.
But then you told me something interesting. Tim Tebow's trying out for the Jaguars.
Yeah, and then when I saw that push alert, I got a push alert from ESPN. I had to read it a couple times. I'm like, no, what year is this? But yeah, Tim Tebow at the ripe young age of 33 is trying to get back in the NFL with the Jaguars, but not as quarterback, as a tight end.
So to me, this is what he should have done when he got out of college. Like, this should have been his career path because this is where he's from and that's where his fans are, right?
Yeah, I mean, people kind of suggested it years ago, when quarterback wasn't really panning out with him in the NFL style. Like, why not tight end? He's a very athletic guy, and just because I'm a Seminole doesn't mean I can't admit that.
Oh, right. She had me fish out her little, who's this guy, Renegade?
That's Renegade. I forgot him at the office over a year ago, and he lives with you now.
He sits right there. That's right. Robert says, enjoying you from Detroit. Good morning, Robert. Good morning from Texas. Hola to you as well. Victoria and I both have lived in Texas at some point in our lives. So good morning to you. New this morning, Biden's first 100 days. You put up this graphic on WPTV's Facebook page and it took off like fire.
Well, everybody likes to leave a Yelp review for just about everything. If only there was a version for our politicians. We could go instead of rate my teacher, rate my politician. We tried to kind of put that out there, and people had a lot of feelings.
Yeah, and he did address, the Senate and the Congress the other day. And this morning on the Today Show, there is an exclusive interview, and we'll give you a little clip of that.
I watched the speech last night. I watched the address, and then I watched the rebuttal from the junior senator of South Carolina last night, Tim Scott. He said, among other things, America isn't racist. Is it?
No, I don't think the American people are racist. But I think after 400 years, African Americans have been left in a position where they are so far behind the 8 ball in terms of education, health, in terms of opportunity. I don't think America is racist, but I think the overhang from all of the Jim Crow and before that slavery have had a cost, and we have to deal with it.
So you'll hear the rest of that interview on the Today Show this morning, or you can go to the Today Show's website. And, Joe St. George, our very own Joe St. George, who works for us in Washington, D.C., reports there. He really lays it out for you so you can really make your own decision on how you feel like the president has done in the first 100 days, what he did that he said he was going to do, what he didn't do. It's a very interesting article, and I think he did put a lot of time into that. It's a very interesting read this morning.
Definitely, and it helps. It feels like this whole year it's already lasted much longer than it has. It feels like we should be way closer to Christmas by now. So it's nice to have those recaps because it feels like things are just moving a million miles a minute.
They do indeed. Chris says, good morning from Boynton. Good morning to you. Garrett, good morning. And I'm only saying hi to you once, Garrett, because he likes to say, he's a frequent flyer. And then Justin checking in from Michigan. Good morning to you. So you get the furthest away for sure. Let's move on. Ready to set sail. Yes, I am ready to set sail in the cruise industry. Is definitely ready. You know, here in Miami, there's thousands, tens of thousands of workers who are ready to get back to work, and they haven't been able to do so for a while. And you know what people are doing because they want to cruise is they're going out of the country. They're getting into the places like the Bahamas, then getting on a boat, and then cruising the Caribbean. So, what's the gist of what happened overnight?
So it looks like the CDC has sent out new guidance to the cruise lines. Originally, the no-sail order was through November. Looks like that's getting pushed up until July. And it also kind of gave them some more guidelines on how they can reopen, how much of their employees have to be vaccinated, what sort of protocols they have to have in place. I think the really big thing is they shortened the amount of time it's going to take them to get approved. I think before it was like 60 days or something. That's
60 days.
That's a long time.
That's a long time. Getting a ship back into its sort of routine is not an easy process because just think of you got to book it. Number one, you got to get all the supplies. Number two, you got to get back into some sort of routine. So I think your article said like 3 days that they're going to try and turn those ships around and get approved by. So that's pretty interesting too. And then I'm really excited about this, and you're excited about Star Wars.
Yeah, so Disney unveiled the look at their new ship, Wish. It's got a lot of new things. Got like you said, the Star Wars bar. I'm most excited for. It's got some things from Marvel. It's going to be going from, I think, Port Canaveral in Orlando. I think starting as soon as 2022, did they say?
That's where most of their ships take out because it's an easy trip from Walt Disney World over. So if you're planning a vacation, you can then take a cruise. What you're looking at now is something called the Aqua Mouse, and it's based on the wonderful world of Mickey Mouse and the little short cartoons. And I didn't check this out, but this is like a frozen restaurant experience that you can take. Look at that thing.
Oh my gosh, my daughter would love that.
Yeah, it's a frozen dining adventure. Obviously coming from the movies and characters like Elsa, Anna, and then this is the Worlds of Marvel, and it's the first ever Marvel cinematic dining experience. So guests will get to play an interactive role. And then this is what you were talking about, the Star Wars bar. And you can see the Millennium Falcon there in the background flying off around a planet. I like the Star Wars bar they have at Walt Disney World now in Galaxy's Edge. That one's fun. It reminds me of the original Star Wars movie in 1977. But that is
named after the cantina, Han Solo and everybody.
Yeah, exactly. And then this is Marvel Superhero Academy for Kids. This is ages 3 to 12. Take part in this. But Spider-Man, Black Panther, Ant-Man, and Wasp are all different heroes. And you got to keep in mind, Marvel can't be in Disney's theme parks east of the Mississippi because of the agreement they had with Universal before Disney even owned Marvel. And then that's a look at the cruise ship that's coming very, very shortly when we get back to cruising. I love this headline you had in the 5 to know on your push alert this morning. It's bills are piling up.
Yes, and for once, it's not for me. It's for the governor. He has 3 bills to sign, all that he seems to have been giving indication that he has every intent to sign. They're things that already had his backing. But there's 3 pretty hot button issues that he has yet to sign. You have the transgender athlete bill, you have the police reform bill, and the election reform bill as well.
I don't know why these videos aren't playing. It is supposed to be a video, but Chelsea Taylor from New Country 103.1 says, "Hi, TA. Good morning to you." Garrett, I'll give you another one. He says, "I like Star Wars." So there you go. All right, I love Star Wars. Good morning. Asking about Universal. This is on the cruise ship, the new cruise ship. They get to have Marvel. Marvel on land at theme parks has to happen at Universal. So just clearing that up for you right there. So yeah, he has a lot on his desk for sure. And then up next, we have theater is back at the Kravis, and I couldn't be happier.
And people can win $10,000.
No, 10 million. 10
10
million.
million. Oh, my bad.
Yeah. So here, I don't know if you've catched on Netflix. There is a new documentary about an art heist, and it happened in 1990 in Boston. And the Boston Police Department and the FBI really weren't set up. They didn't have departments dealing with art theft, and so they kind of boggled the initial collecting of evidence and stuff. And so basically $500 million worth of art was stolen from this museum, and they've never caught they've never caught anybody linked up to this thing. And so on Netflix, it's a 4-part documentary. Well, the Kravis Center just by chance happened to have their first theatrical show back regarding this art heist. And so what it is you get dossiers on your phone, and you get to go around outside the Kravis Center and you ask the characters questions. And they have studied their characters and immersed themselves so much into the story that they'll answer you. And if you can actually help solve the case, or you figure out a missing link that everybody's overlooked, there's a $10 million reward. And so it was such a fun experience. Here's just one of I had watched the documentary, so I didn't have to use my phone. But here's a little interaction we had.
All right, let's take some questions right off the top.
So you were in prison while this heist happened, right?
Yeah. And I'm like, hello, I'm in prison.
Yeah, but I've seen enough Batman and Robins that you could be manipulating and running stuff from the jail, right?
Possibly.
So anyway, it's a lot of fun, and it's running till May 16th at the Kravis Center, and it's just nice to have something to do. And yes, he only has a cot, a little sign that says correction, and his a costume. It's like a police tape, but your mind fills in the rest, and it's it's really, really fun. Yes, there's no sets, there's no lighting, there's nothing like that, but it's a lot of fun.
That sounds so fun, especially for true crime fans, which I know there's a lot out there with all the documentaries and podcasts, and that's a cool, interactive way to get to do that.
Yeah, it really, really is, because it would never be the same. You could actually go several times, you know what I mean? And you get a different experience. It might cost you a few dollars if you want to go several times, but there you go.
Okay, for an evening, that is worth more than a couple dollars these days.
Exactly. Okay, the Kentucky Derby is this weekend on WTV News Channel 5. It's a 2-minute race, but somehow starting at I think 2 o'clock all the way to 7 o'clock. But at the Tommy's Kennel Club, they're having this big family day. Stuff going on outside, live music, pony ride, face cleaning, and it's free. Everything's free. The food, I'm sure you have to pay for, but everything is free. And then it's the only place in Palm Beach County where you can actually bet on the horse race and watch it right there. So it's kind of a cool thing. There's the bugler guy and all that stuff. They really kind of do it up big. And then if you want something a little more low key, O'Shea's is having their little party, and every time you buy a drink, you get a number, and if your number wins the horse race, you get a free drink. So it's kind of a fun thing that they're doing there at O'Shea's.
That looks really fun, except there wasn't enough big hats. People need more big hats.
Oh, thank you for bringing that up, because there is a hat contest, and Virginia Lang from WRMF's KVJ show, I think she changed her last name. Virginia from the KVJ show. She is judging a hat contest, I think around 3 o'clock. All the details are in the link that says events in our post. And so that is where you can get that information. Now,
very cool.
Warby Parker, do you know what that is?
I can't say I do.
Do you wear eyeglasses?
Yep. Well, contacts currently.
Well, okay. So if you wore eyeglasses, you would know what this place is, because it's a fancy eyeglass shop. I go to America's Best, which is kind of like the entry level version of eyeglasses, but they have really nice frames. I get the Nikes there. Well, the Warby Parker is opening up tomorrow. Is the grand opening at the Gardens Mall, and if you do a purchase, you get this keys, wallet, and sunglasses bag for free. Now, I'm a dude, and I don't get the appeal of that bag as a female. Is that something you like?
Yeah, it's also like a nice little checklist. Have to add mask on there. But for 2021. But other than that, I think that's cute. I'm always going to go for
a phone mask.
Yeah.
I actually, what's funny is my roommate actually, when a couple of years ago, I would always forget something. She had a doormat on the way out that said phone, keys, wallet. And that was kind of my checklist of, okay, got all three. I'm good to go. So that's happening tomorrow at the Gardens Mall. If you want to find out any information about anything we talked about, like I said, the links are in the bio. So thanks for hanging out with us. We appreciate it. Victoria, enjoy your weekend.
Same. Have a good rest of your week.